Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video we're going to be talking about betta fish. I recently got a new betta fish, so I thought I'd tell you everything you need to know about them. Right, so betta fish are really interesting fish actually. You would have seen them, you see them anywhere. You see them you see on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. You see them everywhere. Also in fish stores, you see them mainly on the fish tank boxes and like stuff like that. I know also a lot in America, you see them a lot, like in little pots and everything. Less in Europe, but we'll get to that in a bit. But so yeah, betta fish, that's what we're going to be talking about. Their official name, like Latin, I don't know if it's Latin name, but their scientific name is Betta splendens.
I think. Yeah.
Or Betta splendens or something like that. So yeah, that's their official name. But they usually get referred to as just betta or even fighting fish or Siamese fighting fish. Some people also say beta fish, but it's definitely not beta because, you got the double T and double T means and not A, but yeah, whatever. Let me know actually in the comments down below what you say, beta fish or betta fish. So option 1 would be betta fish, option 2 is beta fish. Let me know in the comments down below. But so yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter what you call this fish, it's the betta fish. I'll pop, something on the screen right now. Yeah, I got one recently. His name is Roderick. He was actually brought in like the pet store where I work. He was brought in, the people didn't want him anymore or whatever, and he's been there for like a couple of months and nobody wanted him because he had to be on his own because he was aggressive to other fish. So in the end I decided to take him home and now he's in his nice little tank. And my plan of course is to breed them, but we'll get on to that in a little bit as well. So yeah, I got my new betta fish and I've got him in a 30-liter tank. Beautiful planted, everything. The tank had been empty for a long time, so I put him in there. But if you want to have one, the minimum tank size, I would say is, it depends really, because about a 20-liter, which is a 5-gallon US gallons that should be fine. So a 20-liter tank should be fine. However, a little bit better is also fine, of course. But definitely don't go too small. The thing is, they usually get advertised for like tiny tanks, and these tiny little tanks where people want to put, or like they want you to put them in, but I wouldn't recommend that. Because you want to give the fish a bit of a life, right? And of course they don't swim a lot, they're quite slow swimmers, but still they want a little bit of space. Also another myth is that they do not need a heater, but they do, they're actually tropical fish. So they just need a heater in there, put it at like 25 degrees, something like that, Celsius that is. That is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, something like that is totally fine. So we've had tank size now, let's go on to tank mates. Tank mates, it's a difficult one because every betta fish is different. They all have their own personality. Some are fine with other fish, some are not fine with other fish. It depends. Like I said, mine isn't fine with other fish, he'll just beat them up or something. But some are fine and can be with community fish. I do have mine with some shrimp and he does perfectly fine with those. So yeah, it's a bit of trial and error and just see what works. As for food, you basically just want to feed them, some flake foods, some live foods they do like, some baby brine shrimp for instance, or just some frozen food, something like that, like your typical fish. You can also keep any type of plants with them, so, just use a few plants. They like a few plants. What they also like is like a big Anubias leaf to like rest on. They do actually do that. Other than that, yeah, just give them a nice beautiful tank. Right, I think I've told you everything like care requirements. Oh yeah, by the way, water, like the water chemistry, not important at all. Yeah, it's just not important. They'll be used to your tap water, so that's not a big deal. Alright, let's get on to some breeding then. So the breeding of these fish is actually pretty interesting. Also the reason why I've got him, I want to breed them. This is a male that I've got, by the way. Most betta fish that you'll buy are males. And you just see they're a bit bigger tail and everything. Those are males. Females look a bit different, and yeah, they do come in all different types of colors and varieties, so there's enough to choose from, which actually makes them a pretty good beginner fish, Yeah, I would say beginners, it's a pretty good fish. But anyway, breeding. So breeding is really interesting, like I said. So what you'll want is, of course, you want a male and a female. You need that with anybody, or anything you want to breed. But yeah, get the male into a tank. There's two ways of doing this. Doing it in an actual tank or in tubs. I'll explain both ways. If you were to do this in a tank, it's a little more tricky But the male will, you know, if you've conditioned him well with good foods, he'll start to make a bubble nest. And he'll make little bubbles because they've got we call them labyrinth fish, because they've got this organ inside of them that can like produce bubbles, and like they can breathe air from like the atmosphere, and that way they can make little bubbles, so they make a bubble nest. Gouramis, for instance, do this as well. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting way of, you know, breeding. Once he's built the bubble nest, you want to introduce the female. Female needs to be good conditioned as well. Don't introduce them straight away. Put the female in like a separate container into the tank and let them get used to each other. Then let the female go in. They do their thing. They lay some eggs. The eggs kind of drop, but then the male puts them into the nest. Then once that's done, the male will like kind of defend the nest and shoosh the female away. At that point, you want to take the female out, and then the female's job is done. And for the rest, the male just takes care of the eggs. Then the eggs hatch, you know, into wigglers and free swimmers. And then once they're free swimmers, you can take the male away and then raise the fry. But like I said, there were two ways of doing this: in the tank or in Tubbs method. Tubbs method is usually easier. It's basically the same process, but it's just a bit more manageable and you can oversee it a bit better, as it's also easier to take out fish and stuff like that. Yeah, much easier than doing it in like an established tank. And like I said, I really want to get into breeding these guys, so you know, I might
Start doing that.
but one important thing is you want to make sure you know what you're going to do with the fish, the baby fish, eventually. Because you're going to breed like 100 bettas, and there's going to come a time where the males are going to want to fight with each other, and you can't keep them together because they want to be on their own. That's also a big point I missed out, I think, in the beginning of the video. Betta fish, you can't keep two males together. That's just a no-go. So on their own. Females, yes, you can have a Betta sorority, that's what we call that. But it's always a bit try on error too. But yeah, like I said, you know, you got then ton of those fish, and you want to make sure you can get rid of them. So yeah, first plan that before you start breeding these guys. But anyway, guys, I think I've told you everything you need to know about Betta fish. They're a great beginner fish for pretty much anybody. Even if you're experienced and you've had tanks for quite a while, it's still a fun fish to have. I've had a few in the past, and yeah, just have them now and then. They live about, they can live up to a couple of years, you know, but they won't get really extremely old. Average, I would say, is about 3-4 years for a Betta fish. But so yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also comment down below if you've ever had a Betta fish before, or if you want to keep a Betta fish. And yeah, I'll just really like to read those comments. Other than that, I've got a video over here which you can watch next. This video is all about the best 5 fish to breed for profit. The Betta fish is actually not in this video, but it's pretty interesting to see which other fish you can breed. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next time.